Thanks, gorgeous.
Say hi.
Hi. And a hi to you too. Hi peaches, it's Shaaba. Welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another video. We are back with another weekly segment of providing advice for entertainment, for a little bit of drama, to expand our mindsets and to hopefully help other people who are either from the AITA forum or who have come here with similar situations that could use some advice. As always, my loves, please feel free to pop downstairs and share your views in the comments. Just be kind when you do so. As always, a very big thank you to the Backstage Peaches for helping me choose some of these posts today. If you want to find out more about being a backstage peach, you can click the little join button that's somewhere down there. For now, shall we go fishing for assholes? I don't know why I've gone from this, and I don't even know how this is a fishing rod. You know what? We'll just part that for today. Let's go. Am I the asshole for refusing to wake my flatmate up at his request? I, 23-year-old woman, live with 3 men and get along with them very well. I consider them some of my closest friends. However, I've recently come to the realization that the eldest, 25-year-old man, is a big child. He'll leave skid marks on the toilet, throw stuff in the bin and not pick it up if it doesn't make it into the bin, not change toilet rolls when they're finished, leave his rubbish all around the kitchen, only to then complain to the rest of us about how unclean we are. I was initially going to say, look, you don't have to call people childish just because they are messy, but if they're being super hypocritical, that's a different matter. This is very annoying, and we're trying to get him to change his behaviour, although subtly because he's very touchy and will get extremely offended if being told to pick up after himself. That doesn't make for a good combination, does it? You can't dish it out and not take it. Clichés exist for a reason, and that is absolutely one of them. Now onto the actual problem. He's a gamer. That's not a problem, and games well into the night, usually going to bed at around 5 AM or later. This makes him unable to get up at a reasonable time because he genuinely won't hear his alarm. I've been woken up often over the last few years by his alarm that goes on for hours if no one goes to wake him up. Dude, my sister used to do this and it would frustrate the hell out of me. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm sitting here many feet and an insulated wall away, often with 2 doors in between us, and I can hear your wah, wah, wah. How are you telling me you're right next to that and it doesn't wake you up? It just doesn't make sense to me. Different strokes for different folks, I guess. It's gotten to the point where he'll just expect us to get him up when we hear his alarm, and whilst I've done this many times before, I'm now realising I don't like being this grown man's mother, and it's adding to the resentment I already feel due to his childish behaviour as a flatmate. I totally respect your point. I do feel like you're being incredibly valid on many things. The only problem that I can foresee is that you let him get away with this behaviour for so long, he's become accustomed to you waking him up, which coupled with the fact that all of you seem a little bit afraid to tell him what he truly needs to hear, I just hope you are being very clear with him that you're not going to continue. As this week it's only the 2 of us in the house, he's told me that he has an exam tomorrow and needs me to get him up at 7. So it's gotten to the point where he's literally using you as an alarm clock. This is nothing to do with gaming, by the way. It's just to do with the fact that someone can't be bothered to find an alarm that works for them. Since I have to get my blood drawn tomorrow at 9:30, I was planning on sleeping in until 8:30 at least, since I have a very busy week ahead of me. You don't need to excuse yourself, babe. You want to sleep in until 8:30 and get up for a 9:30 something, you do that. Now, while he's only puffed a bit about me telling him that I was not going to be up at that time, I know he's going to set the loudest alarm and I'll be awoken by it. Will I be the arsehole for staying in bed, awake until 8:30 and let him sleep until it's too late to get ready to show up for his exam? Okay, definitely by the time you're watching this video, the moment would have passed. And so much of me is like, no babe, you would not be the arsehole, you totally wouldn't be the arsehole. There's a tiny bit of me that feels if you don't do this really crucial step, you would be an arsehole, because that is a very big consequence. To miss an exam is not a light matter. And I'm not pulling this out my arse. There is genuine legal routing for the justification that I'm going to give. I totally get that he is a grown-ass man and he should be able to wake himself up. You said you mentioned he only huffed a bit about me telling him I was not going to be up at that time. Despite the fact that you have given him that small warning, there is also the point that if you've done something for many times, people grow accustomed to it. It feels like a common law claim, right? Even though the law might say this, there might be one rule. If you have acted in this other way that is not to do with that rule and someone is now relying on that, I do feel like there would be an element of you that would be in the wrong to then totally change up that behaviour without making it abundantly clear that that is what you're doing. So what I would be doing is before going to bed is say, hey, I'm telling you right now, sir, I am not gonna wake you up. You set your alarm however loud you want to do. I'm not gonna get you up. Not tomorrow, not the day after, not ever again. Grow up. Maybe not that harshly, but I would definitely say something along those lines. Be like, I'm absolutely clarifying with you. I'm not gonna wake you up. If you want to make your exam tomorrow, you better get up. Find a way to make it work. It's not my responsibility. Then you are not the asshole. If you do just leave it to what you have said, which is I'm not going to be up at that time, I'm going to be up at 8:30, I do think there's a lot of leeway for him to be like, oh, well, she always makes me up, so of course she's going to wake me up. And I don't think it would make you the asshole, but I definitely think it would make you suck, and it would be one of those everybody sucks here moments. So right now, you are not the asshole. I have faith that you won't let someone miss an exam. Not the asshole. It sounds like he really needs a wake-up call of another sort. Maybe missing an exam would be it. perhaps I'm being too kind. Not the asshole at all. Don't go and wake him. You have told him that you won't. Maybe reinforce that. Tell him that you're not going to wake him up ever again, and if he wants to get up for something important, he needs to do it himself. Yeah, you do that. He's a child if he's gaming all night and then making others be responsible for him. He's not a child for gaming all night, but it is totally childish to make other people responsible for you when you're a full-ass adult. You've set the expectation that you'll act as his alarm clock's assistant. It's mean to stop without warning. It's perfectly acceptable to stop after telling him, I won't do this anymore. Next time you are on your own. I'm glad we're on the same page. Am I the asshole for causing my co-worker to lose a $500 tip? That's a lot of money. I am currently in my senior year of college. I'm working a serving job at a mid-level restaurant. Bills typically $100 for drinks, food, appetizers, dessert for 2 people. I don't understand how Americans do tips. Sorry, so I'm just thinking about this. It's like a 25% extra, right? But I think normally 10% is tax and 15% is the tip. I think you have to tip 15% in the US. So for every $100 you get $15. I'm gonna roll with that. I've been working here for 10 months. My parents usually come in every Friday with my uncle and aunt. The big tippers. I see. Like, as in $500 still seems like really excessive. But I see. They're usually sat in my section and they tip me extremely well. Around a $200 bill with a $100 tip. That's like a 50% tip. Did I do that math right? Yeah, I think so. Whoa. Just because they're my family. My manager has no issues with this. I don't give them extra or more attention. I just treat them like a normal customer. He's aware of the tip, and my parents will usually order drinks at the bar and tip the bartender as well, so they spend a lot here. I think that's probably really good for business. I don't understand why a manager would have a problem with that. He knows them and talks with them when they're here because he appreciates their business. Exactly. Unfortunately, my manager's out because his wife is sick, so he's on leave for 6 months. Very sorry to hear that. We have a temporary manager named Barb. Barb is very strict and follows the rules. Barb has been here for 2 weeks and has seen my parents twice, and she asked me the second time. When I told her it was my parents, she made a weird face. What's the need to make a weird face, Barb? You work at a nice restaurant, Barb, and they want to support their child, Barb. I should also note that I have a co-worker named Tina who hates that I serve my parents and gets a huge tip. She's always complaining to my old manager, but he never cared. Wait a second, Tina. I just want to point out, right, that if they were not your parents, they would not be tipping that well. It's not that she should be jealous. It's not that it's a tip that you are taking because if it wasn't for you, it would go to someone else. Nobody else would receive that level of money because you are their child. Simple as that. Barb, Tina, stay in your lane. Cut to last Friday. My parents come in. This was essentially my cousin's engagement dinner and also my birthday is soon, so I know that they were planning on leaving me a huge tip as a present. Isn't it a little bit weird that your parents are giving you that money as tips? If it's a $500 tip, that feels really excessive, and surely you can just give that to your child in other ways. If you really wanted to give it at a restaurant because you couldn't wait until home, you could be like, here's the tip and here's a little something for you on the side, honey. You know, and like a cute little envelope that was totally not related to the business. Do tips need to be declared in some way? I don't know, I just feel like that's a bit odd. Let's read on. I haven't seen my cousin or my grandpa in a while and they were very excited to be served by me. That is really cute. I was talking about it all week and I was talking about how I knew I was going to get $500 as a tip because it's my birthday soon. Well, babe, now this is a bit arseholey. I will read on to make a final judgment, but you have to admit, speaking out to servers, your fellow colleagues who don't have people coming in giving them $500 tips and talking about all week how you're going to get a $500 tip, that's going to piss people off, babe. The hostesses know them as well and goes to sit them in my section. Barb immediately intercepts this and tells the hostess to sit them in Tina's section. Barb pulled it dirty. Not only was this my parents, but my aunt and uncle, cousin and her boyfriend and my grandpa. I ask Barb if I can serve my family and she says she is sick of me being unprofessional and I am hogging the tips away from the other servers who deserve it as well. No, Barb. Take a seat, Barb. These people wouldn't be providing them as tips if it wasn't for their child. It doesn't deserve to go to anyone else because it wouldn't go to anyone else, Barb. Tina sees this and is very happy. Of course she is. My family gets sat in her section, however my dad asks if I can serve them, but Barb says OP has some other responsibilities to tend to and wouldn't be able to give you her full attention. That is actually really sad though. I am so convinced that the only reason that they would have gone to that restaurant, or a large reason why they would have gone to that restaurant, is because the child works there and it was a way for them to meet and have a bit of a unique experience and see the child at work, which is a proud moment, and then to be able to give them something too. That was really shitty of Barb and Tina. My parents are confused and I shrug behind my manager. My mum goes on to find me halfway into their meal and I tell her what happened. Cut to the end, their bill's around $350 and Tina has left $65 as a tip. You're going to make me do math here. $300 is 15 times 3, which is 45. $50 would be 7.5. So 45 at 7.5 is 52.5. Is that the tip that they should have gotten? Tina has left $65 as a tip. Well, by my standards, if the 50% is right and if I mathed right, that's a very good tip. My parents leave and after the restaurant closes, Tina corners me and screams at me that I cost her $500. Tina's a freaking idiot. If she thinks that she was ever going to get $500 from your family. Barb steps in and accuses me of telling my parents not to tip Tina. I try to explain that it was a present, and Barb scoffs and calls me a liar. I left and I don't work until tomorrow. I feel like an arsehole because I bet she was really excited to get a huge tip. I'm afraid to go back in as people have been talking about it. Am I the arsehole? Babe, can I just say, this entire situation would have been entirely avoidable if one, your parents didn't tip you in a restaurant, but you know what? Like, I'd let that slide. If that's what they want to do, fine. There's no rule against it, but there is a kind of a moral rule about not bragging about getting a $500 tip. I do think what Barb and Tina did to seat somewhere else and to say that you were too busy, that boils my blood. So I was going to say everybody sucks here, and that probably is true. Can I give 2 badges, please? I'm sorry, Anna, my lovely editor. We're going to do 2 because I'm breaking the rules. It's my video. I can do that. Everybody sucks here and you're not the asshole. There you go. If you hadn't been kind of gloating to the entire serving team about your $500 tip that was coming to you, it would have just been not the arsehole. But everybody sucks here because you do suck just a tiny bit. Do you agree? Let's see what people have to say. But they did tip Tina. They did. It's obvious that they tip you better because you're family. Why the heck would Tina expect to be treated the same? No, OP is the arsehole. The reason I knew I was going to get a $500 tip, and I've been talking about it all week, the parents should give the kid money privately if they want to, not dole out wads of cash publicly whilst other folks get the regular amount. It's in poor as taste to talk about how much money your parents give you. It's a safe bet that at least one of her co-workers is struggling financially in some way. It's got to sting a bit. Honestly, I do agree. I don't think it's enough to give you the arsehole badge, but like, why would you do that, OB? I think we've heard enough about this one. Shall we do one more? Am I the asshole for asking my boyfriend to pick up a prescription on his way home? I, 22, take meds for something I won't go into, but the meds I'm taking are currently hard to get. I have to call up my pharmacist to pre-order them because I'm their only customer that takes it. Woo, babe, I experienced this with Jamie. I feel for you. Yesterday, the pharmacy called me to tell me that my meds are in. It was just in time because I ran out that morning, and I called up my boyfriend, who's 30, to ask if he could pick my meds up from the pharmacy for me once he gets off of work, since he has the car. He seemed angry with that and told me no. I'll admit, I got a little upset and I begged him to please pick it up, and that made him more angry, and he just hung up. What? That's rude. Once he got home, he told me I can go pick them up myself now that the car is here, but by then, because I hadn't had my meds, I couldn't drive. I was just so upset by the situation that I couldn't help but cry, but that made him more mad. Red flags. Red flags everywhere, and thought I was trying to guilt him, then went to bed yelling that he'd had a long day at work. I didn't want to upset him, I just needed my meds and I knew it was on his way home, but I'm feeling like an arsehole since he does work hard all day, so he probably just wants to come straight home. Am I the arsehole? You are totally not the arsehole. Absolutely not the arsehole. Your boyfriend is a massive arsehole. There are 3 situations going around my head right now. Number 1, you're constantly mistreated this way and you need to get out of that relationship because that's a really shitty thing to do, and if that's repeating behaviour, your boyfriend is not somebody that you should be in a relationship with. Number 2, your boyfriend did have a really crappy day. And if he did have a crappy day that was very stressful and long at work and he just needed to go to bed, that's okay. Everybody's human. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody does arseholey things sometimes, but that still makes him the arsehole in this situation. And the second he can, he should go get your pills because you cannot drive. What is he expected to do? You cannot get your medication yourself. Though I also just want to point out that I know that there are services in the UK, just so you know, it might help other people watching this video, where you can actually get your prescriptions posted to you. Just put that out there. Or option number 3, your boyfriend is lying to you. Your boyfriend wasn't in the place that he told you that he was working, which was on the way to the pharmacy. He was somewhere else doing something else. You put him in a difficult position because now he cannot get your meds because he isn't there, whether it's for a good reason like he's planning a surprise party or a bad reason like he's having an affair, and that's just not okay that he took it out on you. So any way you see it, he is an arsehole of biblical proportions. Nobody deserves to get treated that way, especially not someone who's literally just asking to maintain their health. Not okay. Not the asshole. Holy shit, your boyfriend is angry and you ask him to pick up your meds. A 10 to 30 minute chore. Even if he works 12 hours a day, if you physically can't go pick them up, what does he expect you to do? This person's highlighted the fact that he just wanted to come straight home, so I want $1 million. I want to not work at all. I don't want to help my sister by picking up her kids from school once a week, but I do it because I can, and it helps her, and I love her. End of story. Not the arsehole. How effing hard is it for him to make one extra stop on the way home from work? Return your man to the drugstore, OP. I hope you still have the receipt. Oh, sassy. Not the arsehole. Your condition is obviously serious enough that it cripples you without your meds. Why do people get into these clearly uncaring relationships? And OP's actually responded to this one. Yeah, if I don't have my meds, my muscles become weak. As for my boyfriend, he normally is caring, but lately has just been moody because he's working in the summer heat all week. If I'm taking you on your word, my love, it's not that first option. He's not a butthole all the time. Either 1, he was just having a bad bad day, he truly was just having a really terrible day, still makes him an arsehole in this situation, he should go get your meds ASAP. Or, again, he's telling you this, he's telling you it's because of the heat, but something else is going on. Again, could be a lovely thing. Maybe he's planning a surprise holiday for you. Maybe he's going to propose. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, but my little Dar is going do-do-do-do-do. Oh, I do feel bad though for making those assumptions. I'm not saying that's absolutely what's happening, just saying that it's a potential option. I think we'll have to leave it there for the day. What do you think? Do you agree with what I said? Do you not? It's totally fine either way. Pop downstairs and share your views in the comments. It all helps. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I'll catch you next time with another video. Be kind and have a great day. Bye!